The war, the history of the war, and the end of the world. What does it mean? People today are confused about the war which is going on between Israel and Hamas, and they are asking themselves what was going on. If you want to know what is going on, join us in this topic where we are going to talk about the history of Israel and the reason of this war. First of all, I greet you in the name of Jesus. Me, I'm Evangelist Est. God bless you as you join us. Let's start Israel as a country. Israel is a very embodiment of Jewish continuity. It means it is only nation on earth that habit in the same land, bear same name, speak the same language, and worship the same God. That they did 3,000 years ago. So the people of Israel, also called Jewish people, traced their origin to Abraham, who established the beliefs that there is only one God. First, let's talk about the history of Abraham. Let's read Genesis 14, verse 13. One of the men who had escaped went to Abraham the Hebrew and told him what had happened. Abraham was living near the oak tree that belonged to Mamre the Amorite. Mamre and his brother Echro and Annie had made an agreement with Abraham to help protect each other. Amen. So after we read this verse, you can ask yourself where Abraham came from. And that is where the history of Israelite started. So, according to the verse we read, Abraham was not an Israelite. He was a Gentile, if I may say, but he gave birth of Israelite. So, what does it mean, Hebrew? Abraham Hebrew. Why they say Abraham Hebrew? Hebrew means what? Hebrew means crossover. It means Abraham who cross over. So we are going to see why they say Abraham Hebrew. So let's check where Abraham lived. He lived in the place called Ur of Chaldee. That was in Babylon. This place where Abraham used to live at Uri, back in time it was on the sea. But by the years goes by, the sea dried. And that time God called Abraham. And that is where the journey of Abraham with God started. And by the time God called Abraham, then Abraham leave Ur of Chaldee, go to Babylon. When you see on the map, you will see I'm trying to put some different map according to the time, so you will know how was the history of Abraham, how was the history of the Israelite, and why there is war in Israel now. So when you look on the map of Abraham journey, you see where he lived. He left from Ur and go to Babylon, from Babylon to Haran. So when he reached Haran, beside the Haran there was a river called Tigray. So from that river you found Nineveh. From Nineveh you go to Haran. It means This region from Babylon, Nineveh to Haran, it's called Mesopotamia. So now I'm trying to talk about geography. So if it will help when we know about this geography, because to help us to read, it will lead us on history. So history it will lead us on the cause of the war of today. That is why it's better when you understand where this geography, when you understand where this geography and the journey of Abraham, you will know all the truth behind the war of today. And as a Christian, you will know where you're supposed to stand. So that region of Mesopotamia, that place was very fruitful region because it was near the two rivers. One side the river Tigris and another side river Euphrates. And remember, Nineveh is the place where Jonah sent, and it was very powerful city today. Is in Iraq of today, a place called Mosul. So I'm sharing this history so you understand where Abraham, where coming from, or origin of Abraham. So let's continue. So Abraham came from Ur to Babylon, from Babylon to Haran. So Abraham from Ur to Haran, he crossed two rivers. That is why where we read in Genesis chapter 14 verse 13 says Abraham Hebrew. It means Abraham who crossed two rivers. Are we together? So there God told Abraham, go, I'll show you the land. Now he reached at Haran. Today Haran is the border of Armenia and Turkey. But that time of Abraham was Mesopotamia. And remember, in Haran is where his father Terah died. So after Abraham listened the voice of the God when he was in Haran, that time God told Abraham, you just leave, I'll show you the land of promise. So now he starts journey from Haran to Karshemish, from Karshemish to Pada Alam. So Pada Alam now is the Syria of today. Now he moved from Pada Alam. Just when I'm saying try to check on the map, I'm trying to talk about this geography to see how was the journey of Abraham and how that journey is related with the war which is happening today, because the most reason that caused the war today, it comes from this journey of Abraham. So it's better when you understand what I'm saying now. So let's continue. Now Abraham moved from Pada Alam to Damascus. And also Damascus is in Syria of today. So he came from Damascus to Shechem. And Shechem now is a part of Samaria of today. Now continue from Shechem to Bethel. And remember, when Abraham is in Bethel, is where he built an altar. He built an altar between Bethel and Shechem. So he continued the journey. He left Bethel to Mamre, from Mamre to Beersheba. And when he reached in Beersheba is the place where Isaac, son of Abraham, born. So now from journey continue. He moved from Beersheba to Hebron, from Hebrew to Goshen, and then reached in. And now he go back. He came from Egypt to Beersheba. And when he reached Beersheba, this is where God told him where he will live. And now the journey continue from Beersheba to Bethel, from Bethel to Moriah. And this Moriah, it was Jerusalem of today. And remember, this is the place where he sacrificed Isaac, and is the place where Sarah died. So from now continue, after that journey continue, he came from Moriah to Kadesh, and from Kadesh to Gerar. When he reached Gerar, God told Abraham, I'll give you a land. So you can ask yourself, so which land God told Abraham according to all journey we see Abraham went? Because we see he goes and come back. So when Abraham, I think we're still together. Let's continue. So when Abraham was in Gerar, God told him, look, east, west, north, south, I'll give you this land. Let's check in Genesis 15:18. And when you check on the map, you will see where Gerar is, where Abraham was at the time God told him, look, east, west, north, south, I'll give you this land. And God told Abraham, your descendant, I'll give them this land from the river of Egypt to the great river of Euphrates. When you see on the map, you see where there is a river of Egypt to the river Euphrates. When you see all those parts were supposed to be the land of Israel. Meanwhile, it's supposed to be the country of Israel. So today I can tell you all the nations that God promised to Abraham, they actually the land of Israel. So let's see together what is actually the land of Israel. So let's start. Check on the map where there is Iraq, Syria, some part of Turkey, Lebanon, in the region of Erat, and some part of Egypt, and some part of Sudan, Yemen, Oman, also Qatar. That was actually the land of Israel. It's supposed to be, all that part is supposed to be the country of Israel. So you can ask yourself when we reach here, would they given to the country? That is the question. So let's see what Abraham told Joshua. God told Joshua, wherever you step, it's given to you. That means that the place they fight for was what given to them. And God told Abraham, wherever your eyes can see, it's given to you. Do you get the difference? For Joshua, God told him, wherever you will step, it's given to you. But on the side of Abraham, God says, wherever you can see, it's given to you. So let's go on the map, check where Joshua fight for, where they conquered. So Joshua as the leader of Israelites, and remember the time of Joshua was the period of the king, and the most notable of king were King David. So let's look where that 12 tribes conquered according to the land God promised Abraham. So let's look east side of Jordan River. So on the east side of Jordan River, that part was conquered by the family of Manasseh, family of Gad, and on south, family of Reuben. And when you look on west side, it's better when you use the map. When I'm saying on it, when you check on the map, you'll get what I'm saying. Because if I'm saying it but you didn't check on the map, it is not easy to get what I'm saying. So let's continue. When you look on west side also of Jordan River, there is also a part of Manasseh, family of Manasseh. They conquer also that part. So, and also there on west side there is a family of Ephraim, and the family of Benjamin, and family of Judah, family of Simeon also conquered that part. So on this also west side of Jordan, there's also family of Dan. Down there, they conquered some part down there. They conquered one of the 5 cities of Philistia. And on this west side of Jordan, on the north of Manasseh's family, they were Naphtali family, and Asherah, Zebulun, and Isaac. And when we come back on the family of Dan, where they conquered also some part of Mediterranean, which is Rafah. Rafah now is Tel Aviv of today. And also another things I can add, the son of Dan live with Philistia. So I want you to know 5 cities of Philistia. The five cities of Philistia: 1 Ashdod, 2 Ashkelon, 3 Gaza, 4 Gath, 5 Ekron. So the city Ekron was the city that conquered by the son of Dan. And now but the other city like Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gaza, and Gath was for Philistia. And if you remember when the Ark of Covenant, when it was taken and spent 7 months in Philistia, this is where the Ark was, in that remaining city where the son of Dan didn't conquer. So they will replaced it until it was released to return. Are we still together? I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So meanwhile, this is the land Israel took at the time of Joshua. And when you see on the map, they didn't reach Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon. And remember where I mentioned before when I'm talking about which the land actually supposed to be the country of Israel. Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon was included. Remember the time God promised Abraham. Those 3 countries also included in the promises. But by the time of Joshua, they fight, but they don't reach there. Which means this: the things that God says to you, you can get it or not get it because you are not fighting for it. It means what? When you fight for it, when you fight for the promise of God, you can get it. But if you don't fight for it, you can't get it. So God shows Abraham, but for descendants says, wherever you step, but they didn't step there. So what they fight for is what they get. So it means what? The place they choose is what is given to them. Are we together? So, and when you come back on the family of Levite or son of Levite, they live any place where they want. So let's jump and talk about the Israel in terms of kingdom. And remember, the Israel I told you for Joshua was the same Israel where David was a king. And Israel in the term of kingdom divided in 2 parts. It was in term of Rehoboam, son of Solomon, fight with Jeroboam, descendant of Ephraim. So because of the fight of two kings, it caused the Israel to divided into two parts. So let us see how Israel divided into two parts. So when you check on the map, I'm trying to put some different map so it can help you to get what I'm saying. So when you check on the map, other parts, when you check, was taken to other empire, and Israel remained only the part of north of Jordan, and left with Samaria, Shechem, Jaffa, that is Tel Aviv, Bethel, and Jericho. And when you look on south, they left with Jerusalem. That was the first was on the north. Now I'm talking about the south. South there is Jerusalem, Lachish, Hebron, and Beersheba. Other part was taken by Kingdom Edom. And remember the Israel in the time of Joshua. That part which was for Manasseh, Gad, Reuben on south was taken now by the kingdom of Ammon and kingdom of Moab. And that was Israel in time of Rehoboam and Jeroboam. And Israel in time of Jesus was different with Israel in time of Jeroboam and Jeroboam. So after Jesus died and the resurrection, Israel was taken to exile. Roman took over, and this was in time of General Titus. Are we still together? So from this year, there was controlled by succession of superior power empire of the time in the following order. First Babylonia, Persia, until they comes in Roman Empire. So when we jump and go to the Roman Empire, which led by General Titus or Titus, after the exile by the Roman Empire, the Jewish people immigrate to Europe and north of Africa. In diaspora, it means scattered outside of the land of Israel. And after UN established, and the purpose of UN that time was to establish law that will protect human rights. That law was human rights cannot killed because of who they are. That is where the law against genocide started. Are we together? So, after 2,000 years later, after Jesus' resurrection, Israel country was conquered by Turkey, and all the holy mountain were for Islam. Everything of Christian for Israel replaced by the things of Islam. Like where there is a church, they build new mosque, things like that. So later, Great British recognized the right of Christianity or the right of Jewish people to establish national home in Palestine. So let's talk about this name Palestine, where this name Palestine came, because as I mentioned before, and when you check on the map, there is nowhere we found through the journey Abraham went through, there is no country path through called Palestine. So now you can ask yourself where this Palestine come from. During the Second World War, Napoleon Bonaparte conquered the land of Israel during the fight, and ask how they called east side of Jordan. They says it's called Philistia, but because of mispronounce, he said Palestina. That is where from that time Napoleon says Palestina, that country of Israel called Palestina, not Israel. So that is where name Palestina came from. So after Napoleon Bonaparte, British Empire chose Ottoman Empire, and conquered the land. That time was no longer Israel, was Palestina. Remember, I have said. So they split the Palestina mandate into Arab states. That has become Jordan and Israel. So that time some Jewish start to go back, but on the way of return, they look like immigrant return, not Jewish. It was in 1906 that movement called Jewish immigrant to Palestine. So, despite all the hardship, Jewish community prepare itself for independence openly and can. So on May 14, 1948, the day that last British force left Israel, the Jewish community leader was David Ben-Gurion. Declare independence, establish the modern state of Israel. Are we together? Then, in 1967, a day after declaration of independence of the State of Israel, an army of 5 Arabian countries, that was Egypt, Syria, Transjordan, Lebanon, and Iraq, invaded Israel. So this invasion marked the beginning of the war of independence of Israel. And that war called 6 Days War. So despite the numerical superiority of the Arab armies, Israel defended itself each time and won. So during that war, Jews conquered the land of Golan Heights in the north part was taken by Israel. Therefore, the whole world stand up, tell Israel to stop it, and because of that, Israel don't reach Ramallah, and Ramallah now is for Palestine. So this part of Ramallah, Jerusalem, Gaza Strip, all this is for Palestine, and they call it West Bank. So why they said West Bank? Because it's near the river of Jordan and Mediterranean Sea. That is why they called West Bank. So are we together or still together? So let's check on the map. So when you see according to history on the map, you found that Palestine is the country which is inside Israel on the northwest. And when you remember at the time of Joshua, where the son of David conquered, as I mentioned before, the son of David lived together with Philistia. So that part which was for Philistia now is a part of Hamas. I can say is where now Hamas live. That 4 city that the family or son of David left during the time of the war. So I'll come back to Hamas later, as we'll be talking about the issue of today. So now when we see now the capital city of Israel is in Tel Aviv. So when we reach here, I'm telling you how the map is, how the history is. So when we reach here, you can ask yourself, so why there is a war? Where is this problem comes from? Is what I'm going to tell you now. The first problem is this. Israel want to shift their capital city from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. And remember, during the time they are fighting for the independence, where they started that war that called it 6 days of the war, they conquered different parts until they reached to that part I said in Golan Heights. When they reached there, because every place they fight for, they conquered. Every place they fight, they conquered. War would stand up and stop Israel to fight. They stop Israel before they conquer Ramallah and Jerusalem. Now, look at the problem where it is. So, because they stopped them without reaching that part of Ramallah and Jerusalem, and remember the time of Joshua, that place was for Israel. They fight for it. So, now, what Israel want now? They want to shift their city, Tel Aviv, to Jerusalem. And now, Ramallah and Jerusalem is a part of Palestine. So let's continue. We know the cause of this war. So before I continue, let's talk about Jerusalem. Jerusalem now, meanwhile, it is divided into four parts. Let's talk about that four parts. The first part was for Christian. Another part is for Muslim. Another part is for Jewish. Another part is for Armenia. So at the part of Jewish is where there is Wearing Wall of Solomon, and when you go behind the wall, you will find that golden mosque of Mizman. That was exactly the place where the temple of Solomon was, and that is very big, the problem which caused the war of today. So it means what? Ramallah and Jerusalem is a territory of Palestine, but the currency and the electricity they use, they get it from Israel. So let's talk this Ramallah. Ramallah is Samaria. It was in Shechem, and they are being ruled by Muhammad Abbas. Their political party called Fatah. So now to Gaza. Remember, Gaza was a part of Philistia. This Gaza, remember, for Palestine. This Gaza now is for Palestine. So to travel from Gaza to Ramallah, you have to have a chan. You have to have a pass, or you have to have an authorization to move from Gaza to Ramallah. So it's better when you take a map for today. It's better when you take the map. I put on it, you check on it, to check on the map the Israel of today. When I talk Gaza to Ramallah, you will know what I'm saying. And when I say that you need to have like a passport and authorization to move from, even if Gaza is for Palestine, also Ramallah is a part of Palestine. Because to move from Gaza to Ramallah, you have to pass through Israel. You have to get an authorization. So in years later, Gaza took it by the people called Hamas. So the target of Hamas is to erase Israel on the map so Arab can take over. That is the target of Hamas. So it means what? Gaza is not controlled by Ramallah. Ramallah is a part of West Bank, is a part of Palestine. Even if Gaza is in Palestine, but is not controlled by West Bank, this part of Gaza is controlled by Hamas. And the Hamas is very powerful than Ramallah. And also Hamas is helped by Iran. Iran support them to erase Israel on the map. And also Iran work with Russia so they can help them to erase Israel on the map. And when you check on the map, on the north there is a Lebanon, on south, or on the north is Lebanon south. So that part also is taken to other political party called the Hezbollah. That party also is very powerful than Lebanon. And also this army group is helped by Iran. So what does it mean? What does it mean, all this journey of Abraham, all this history we have said. It is says briefly says that Israel is surrounded by this Arab. So now let's talk about what is happening now to them. So in back years, Israel fight with Arab. It was in 1960. They fight with Jordan, so Israel conquered and took Golan Heights, as I mentioned. And the Golan Heights, remember, was for Syria. And now UN not yet approve. So on May, but only Trump approved it. So that is also the problem which is causing the war of today. So, and you can ask yourself where Hamas come from. What does it mean, Hamas? Hamas in Hebrew, it means violence. So it means it is a group which is found to violate. So recently what had happened, the news that you have following on YouTube. In 1973, Israel has a feast called Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur comes before Sukkot. You can ask yourself, what is Yom Kippur? Yom Kippur, it means Yom. Yom means a day. Kippur, it means a day of repentance. So during this time, they don't touch any weapon. So what happened that year? In 1973, all Arab attacked Israel when they were in Yom Kippur. It happened from 16th to 25 October 1973. All Arab with a great army stand up to fight Israel. Remember, they are in Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, it means they don't allow to take any weapon. Look what happened. That time what Arab want is just to destroy Israel, to move Israel on the map. But look what happened. But because of the God, hallelujah, God of Israel, he is not sleep and slumber. God used American, and American that time used their airlifting of weapon. It came from America to help Israel. That airlift of weapon of America helped Israel ultimate over Soviet supplier to Egypt and Syria. That's given to them. At that moment, where all Arab were ready to attack Israel, American airlift of weapons destroy all their plan. That is how Israel come over. Sorry, that is how Israel overcome. But also remember, on this Yom Kippur, Israel lost its soldier who were like 2,656. So recently, after first of Scott, it was jubilee of Yom Kippur of 50 years. So it was on 6, remember, October 2023. That is the time people from Gaza destroyed the wall and attacked civilians who were living in their city. So Hamas now took people hostage and murdered over 1,000 people. And now, as I'm speaking today, number are increasing, and this war is happening in Israel. And what Hamas wants is to remove Israel on the map, and all the part become from Mizirima, part of Mizirima. What does it mean? It means Christian will not be able to go there in Israel. So, and this is the war we are seeing. And this is the problem we have. So what we need as a Christian, we need to cry out to the Lord to help Israel. It is sad to see people rejoice over others' death. So Jewish live in peace with Palestine, but Palestine, they don't live in peace with Jewish. So all the time when Jewish try to love Palestine, Palestine killed Jewish. And they teach their children to hate Jewish and Christian. So because Christian support Jewish, that is why they teach their children to kill Jewish. And remember, our Redeemer Jesus Christ come from Jewish, where we have to support Jewish. So remember Jesus born in Bethlehem, and what is surprised now, Bethlehem is in the hand of Muslim. Can you imagine? So it means what? It is not easy, but you need to pray. You have to pray for peace. And I get this opportunity to tell Jewish all over the world to be patient, be strong. God is with you and He will not forsake you. So